It is exactly 10 games to the end of the EPL 2023-2024 season. And what a season we are having, people. Only 1 point separates number 3 and number 1. And only a difference of 7 goals is the thin line between number 1 and number 2. Well, you are probably an Arsenal fan, Liverpool, or Man City, and you have tuned to this video and you're wondering who is going to win the EPL 2023-2024. And not just only those fans, because everyone who follows the Premier League wants to know or is looking for the answers of who is going to win this title. I mean, for example, Chelsea fans will not want Arsenal to win the league, let's be honest. Manchester United fans are confused at this point because they don't know if they want to back Arsenal to win their first title in a long time. They don't know if they want Man City to win four in a row. Or they also don't want, most likely, Liverpool to win it for the 20th time to match Manchester United's record. So, in this video, we've come up with 6 factors, very crucial factors, that could be the key in which this Premier League could be won. So, welcome to Get In Sports. My name is Brian. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this video as we try to break down who is most likely to win this season's Premier League title. So, with these 6 factors, a team gets 10 points if it ticks all angles of how we're going to approach these factors. And remember, as we've said, it's going to be between Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City. So one team gets 10 and the rest gets 0 in these factors. And we're going to tally all the points of the 3 teams and see who has the most points and who has the chance to win this season's Premier League. So, factor number 1, injuries and fitness levels. I mean, let's start with Arsenal. At this point in game, Arsenal, the only player who is doubtful for Arsenal is Martinelli. The rest of the players are fit, and all the players who are injured are now back in the squad, and now they are ready to go. For Liverpool, they have injury issues, especially with the key players. Alisson is out, Trent is still out, and etc. etc. They have a number of players who are out, and it is one of the things that could affect Liverpool. For Manchester City, only Ederson was injured in the game when they played Liverpool at Anfield, and also Grealish. But for the rest of the players for Manchester City, they are available to play. So, in terms of injury and fitness level, we're going to give Arsenal 10. And the reason is, if you have been watching all the games of the Premier League, of course, you will notice that the way Arsenal have been pressing, the way they have been defending, they look like the most fit or the fittest team amongst the 3 of them. So Arsenal 10 points, Liverpool 0 points, and Man City 0 points on this one. Factor number 2, squad depth. So what do we mean by squad depth? I mean, it's kind of related to fitness and injuries, but squad depth is a little bit different because who do you have on the bench when you have injuries that could come in and help you? Or who do you have available as a player who could come in and cover you up when maybe a player is suspended or something like that? And let's start with Arsenal. For Arsenal, their squad depth this season looks good. Looks good, by the way, because sometimes they have Thomas Partey who's back. He's been featuring from the bench and he's been able to play a few minutes from the bench. They also have Zinchenko, who has been out but is back. But Kiwior has done so well that Zini, in the last few games, has been coming on from the bench. They also have Vieira, who's now fit, and amongst other players. So we will say Arsenal's squad depth at the moment is also very good. For Liverpool, their injuries have affected their squad depth because Even in the midfield, where you would think maybe someone like Thiago will be back and playing at this point, he's no longer playing because he got injured on the first game that he came back. And we'll not forget about Diego Jota and everyone else. So it has affected Liverpool's squad depth to a point that at this point in game, their squad depth doesn't look so good. And for that reason, they have been able to play kids like Nyoni, like Bradley. They also have kids like Kwanzaa, who have been able to come to the team and help the team. But let's be honest, in terms of team squad depth, Liverpool are still below Arsenal. And then for Manchester City, I think it is the team that has the best squad depth, let's be honest, because they have Diaz, who sometimes doesn't even just play because of the tactical approach to the game. In the game against Liverpool, he is fit, but he didn't even play. So they have a number of players, especially at the back, like Akanji. They also have Diaz. They also have Stones. They also have Vardiol. They have a good squad, putting in mind that they also have Kovacic on bench most of the time. They have sometimes Alvarez. Alvarez was a very good player on the bench, shows that City, in terms of squad depth, they are the best. And you know, Guardiola knows that when you want to win everything, you need squad depth. And that's why every time he goes to the market and buys very expensive players, whether they're going to play or not, he doesn't care as long as he has a great squad depth. So we're going to give 10 points to Manchester City because of the squad depth, of how they usually prepare even before the season begins. Factor number 3, form. Form is something that is very important when you want to win the Premier League, of course. And in 2024, we will all agree that Arsenal haven't dropped any points in 2024. And they are the most informed team, and that form is the one that has brought them to the top of the Premier League table. And that's why, for the form part, we will give Arsenal 10 points on this one, because Liverpool this year, if we check, you will find that they lost to Arsenal, and at the same time, they drew to Manchester City. And for Manchester City, they also they drew against Chelsea, and they've drawn against Liverpool. So in terms of form, Arsenal, 10 points. So at this point, Arsenal has 20 points, Liverpool has 0, Manchester City has 10 for squad depth. Factor number 4, extra non-Premier League fixtures. What do we mean by this? The competitions, aside from the Premier League, that these 3 teams are going to be taking part in. For example, Arsenal, at the moment, are in the Champions League. They're going to be playing Bayern Munich, right? Yes. Liverpool, at this stage in game, they're still in the Europa League. They're going to be playing Atalanta in the quarterfinals. For Manchester City, they're still in the Champions League, and they will be facing Real Madrid, and they will also be playing an FA Cup. So we will all agree that Arsenal, especially now that they have not played a quarterfinal before, a quarterfinal for a long time, pressure is coming towards them. And especially now that they drew Bayern, this is going to be a fixture that is going to take a lot of pressure from them. It's going to test their mentality. And for Liverpool, Klopp can play even the kids in the Europa League and still concentrate with the league, because we understand that Europa League is not as prestigious as the UEFA Champions League. He would want to win the Europa League, yes, but if you, on paper, you will find that he will not have too much pressure with winning the Europa League compared to Arsenal and Manchester City winning the UEFA Champions League. And we'll also agree that for Manchester City, facing Real Madrid in the quarterfinals is a big, big game that is going to also bring pressure to them. Of course, they have been able to handle this kinds of stuff, and that's why last season they were able to win the treble. They also got through past Real Madrid before they won the Champions League. But let's all agree that for Liverpool, it looks like fixtures outside the Premier League, they have a little pressure. That's why Liverpool has 10 points on this one. The kind of pressure that they could get in the fixtures outside the Premier League, it looks easier compared to Arsenal and Manchester City. Factor number 5, Tottenham. You heard it right, Tottenham. And the reason why we are putting Tottenham on this one is because Tottenham play all the 3 teams who are fighting for the Premier League. So Tottenham will play Arsenal at their home, at the Tottenham Stadium. Arsenal will be playing away from home. Liverpool will be playing Tottenham at home. Man City will be playing Tottenham away from home. And the reason why we've picked also Tottenham to be amongst the factors of which will decide this Premier League is because Tottenham are a team that all of these 3 teams haven't beaten this season. Yes, you heard it right. In the first leg against Arsenal, they drew 2-2. In the first leg against Liverpool, they beat Liverpool 2-1 at Tottenham Stadium. A controversial kind of game, yes, but they still won 2-1. And for Manchester City, they drew 3-3 at Etihad. So, who is getting the 10 points for the Tottenham game? Tottenham is a team that can decide to lose to all these teams, as we know them. They always bottle or they always do whatever they want. But remember, they also bring their game, especially with the new manager in. So, for Arsenal, it's going to be a very difficult game. Putting in mind that they drew 2-2 at the Emirates, going to Tottenham Stadium, and Tottenham knowing that this could be a game that should decide if Arsenal are going to win the league or not, it's going to be very tough. And Tottenham are going to do everything to make sure that they stop Arsenal. For Liverpool, the first game was very much controversial, and you could tell that they were playing with 9 men, but they were still doing it even better. And it tells you that at Anfield, this fixture looks easier for Liverpool than anyone else, because for Manchester City, their record away to Tottenham hasn't been good. Have they won at the Tottenham Stadium? I don't think so. So 10 points for Liverpool. So we have 20 points for Arsenal, 20 points for Liverpool, and 10 points for Manchester City so far. And then we go to factor number 6, which is the most crucial one. And because it is the most crucial one, because it is involving the fixtures that these teams are going to play. So look at this. We have come up with the fixtures that we think could be key for each team. If these teams are able to win these fixtures as we're going to name here, then they have a big chance. So first, let's look at Arsenal's fixtures that we have pinpointed from all of the 10 fixtures, and let's see how hard it is for them in these fixtures. City away from home, Brighton away from home, Aston Villa at home, and Man United away from home. City, we picked it because of the obvious reasons. It's going to be one of the games that is a title decider. Brighton away from home, not easy because Brighton are a team that can beat anyone. Aston Villa, because they're also fighting for the top 4 and they've beaten Arsenal even at Villa Park. And Man United, the record at which Arsenal have at Old Trafford is a difficult one. You judge for yourself there. Liverpool play Brighton at home. For the same reason that we said Brighton can beat anyone or can upset anyone, they actually drew 2-2 in the first leg, so it's a difficult game for them. Man United away from home, also a difficult game because it's a derby. But lately, as we've seen, Liverpool have a good record against Man United, although in the last 2 games or the last game they played at Old Trafford, Manchester United won 2-1. And they also have West Ham away from home and Aston Villa away from home. Of course, those are 5. Also, Arsenal had 5 big fixtures, which we think could make a difference in this title. And then for Manchester City, they have Arsenal at home, which is a big game. And then they have Aston Villa at home again. And they also have West Ham away from home. So we think these are the fixtures that could bring headache to Manchester City. No disrespect to any of the teams that we've left out, because we know this is the Premier League and anyone can win any of the games, but we feel like these are the intensive ones that could be a decider. And if you have noticed, we haven't added Tottenham to any of them because we have already talked about Tottenham in the factor number 5. So, looking at these three, it is obvious to see that Manchester City don't have so many crucial matches, if I should call them crucial. They don't have so many big games, and they have a chance if they win these three fixtures, especially against Arsenal, against Aston Villa, and against West Ham. For Liverpool, we think Man United and Aston Villa are a big game for them. And for Arsenal, we also think Man United and City and Aston Villa are also a very, very tough fixtures. So in terms of how the fixtures looks like, the Premier League fixtures, because we are talking about the Premier League, of course, Manchester City gets 10 points on this one. So it is easy to see that Arsenal have 20 points, 10 from injuries, 10 from the form. Liverpool have 20 points as well, 10 points from extra and PL fixtures, and they also have 10 points from the fixture that could decide across the three teams, which is playing Tottenham. They also have 20. Manchester City are here as well. They have the squad depth points, and they also have the fixtures, which looks easier for them. So who's gonna win the Premier League? I mean, it is a tough decision even for us, and we think that it's gonna go down to the wire. It could even be won with goal difference this season because it's so tight up there. So at this point in game, we think it is in the Arsenal's hands because they are the top. So if they win all the fixtures remaining, then they win it. But again, they have a difficult game, which is against Manchester City. And this one could bring Liverpool back in case they draw. Because if they draw and then Liverpool come back on the top, providing maybe they win all their fixtures before then it means now it will be in Liverpool's hands. So it is very 50-50-50. Okay, like it's not 50-50. It's like 33.3, 33, like that. It's very, very equal chances of winning this Premier League. Maybe, just maybe, if we were to look at something else that could help in deciding who's going to win these Premier League titles, we're going to be looking at things like head-to-head between them. And for Arsenal, they've made a leap towards beating the top teams, meaning they are ready. Last season, Arsenal drew against Liverpool. Of course, they took 4 points from Liverpool. They've done it again this season. And yeah, they drew against Liverpool 1-1 and they defeated them 3-1 at the Emirates. For Manchester City, Arsenal also beat Manchester City. And between the two, Manchester City and Liverpool, they drew all the games 2-2. So in terms of beating the big teams to mean it that you want to win, Arsenal have a chance. If we look at probably the mentality side, Manchester City have an edge over the rest of the teams because of what they've been doing regularly. They know where to apply pressure. They know the kinds of games to win for them to be able to win the Premier League. And for Liverpool, they have something as well because it is the last season for Klopp and they could do everything to make sure that they win for him. And that's why they have been playing so much proactive football. They have been pressing. And in a game against Manchester City, they actually dominated Manchester City in the second half. And it shows you that they are ready to fight until the end. So we are stuck again because we don't know at this point who's going to win the league. But here at Get In Sports, we believe that the game between Arsenal and Manchester City will be a big decider. If Arsenal wins that game, my guys, this is over. If Man City wins that game, my guys, it is leaning towards Manchester City. If that game ends in a draw, my people, Liverpool will come back to the top and it will be in their hands. So That is our verdict. You probably have more reasons, or you think otherwise of the from how we outlined and pinpointed our factors of who's going to win the Premier League. Why not jump into the comment section and let us know who is most likely to win the 2023-2024 Premier League. Of course, you've been chilling out with your favorite presenter, Brian Werimo from Getting Sports, and see you in the next one.